What's going on, everybody, and welcome into the show. Mizzou Hub postgame after the Tigers' big win over number 4 Alabama, 110-98. I'm Brenden Schaeffer, joined live by Kareem Rush, Mizzou basketball legend. Kareem, we just saw an unbelievable game, and I cannot wait to get your take on it. But I want to mention off the top, Mizzou Hub postgame is presented by Hot Shots. St. Louis is home for all the games, all the time since 1990. Find yours at hotshotsnet.com. We're also sponsored by Educated Spirits, new Rivals Bourbon Collection featuring the black and gold. Visit educated-spirits.com. Kareem, this was an unbelievable night. Mizzou with a complete 40 minutes against one of the most electrifying teams in the country. But we've got news for folks. Missouri is also one of the most electrifying teams in the country. What did you make, just your instant reactions of this one?
I mean, really impressive game, from the tip-off. We got after them early on. And the game pretty much, boiled down to those first 3 minutes. We got out 12-0, and as you see, the final score is a 12-point lead. So the guys came out ready to play. Mizzou Arena was rocking, and we got another quad one win. So, kudos to the boys. Shout out to Dennis Gates for getting the guys ready. And, that was an amazing win.
Hey, Kareem, I love seeing after the game. I've still got the SEC network on, muted on my TV. Coach Gates has the microphone, his whole team behind him. This is a group that has some fun and is enjoying the ride after the 0-18 last season. They have turned the page and are one force to be reckoned with in the Southeastern Conference. I want to ask you about, off the top, Mark Mitchell, your impression of him tonight, because this was a game where Mark Mitchell just took over with his aggression, being able to drive the lane, draw fouls, and get to the free throw line. He was unbelievable tonight for Missouri. What was your impression of the way he was able to impact this game for the Tigers?
I mean, shout out to a KC guy. It's good to see a KC guy go out there and do his thing. I know Mark, he's from his high school days, getting a chance to watch him play. So to see him finally come back and be home and have the impact that he's having, shout out to the portal for bringing him to, back to Columbia. But Mark, is definitely the tone setter. First half he played really well. I think he had 14 to 16 points in the first half, and he's been playing really well the last 3 games. So having that down low post option that that he's presented himself the last few games is something they definitely need. So Mark's playing well, career high. Shout out to Caleb, shout out to the whole squad, because one thing I'm really impressed about with this team is how well they play together, and there's no egos. We can have somebody have a high night any given night. So I really like this team's versatility in the way they kind of come together as a group. And again, great win.
Oh, my goodness, what a win. 110-98, the Tigers knocking off number 4 Alabama. It's Missouri's 3rd win this season over a top 5 opponent. Mark Mitchell, as we talked about, 31 points in this one. I thought so critical, too. 8 for 12 from the line to be able to get to the free throw line and knock just enough of them down. The Tigers were at the line a ton tonight. 47 free throw attempts. You maybe would like to see a little more than the 66%, but that's 31 made free throws. That's more than Alabama even attempted in this game. As we see some of the comments rolling in, 110 points is unbelievable. I know the over-under for this game was around 172. Alabama plays with the fastest adjusted tempo in the country. Mizzou more middle of the pack this season. But Kareem, what did you make of the fact that Missouri didn't seem to mind playing at a tempo that Alabama, you would think it would have been to their advantage to have such a high-scoring game? Missouri was just as efficient offensively at that tempo.
I mean, I think the fast pace actually, benefited us this early on because we was able to turn them over and get some easy buckets and get that early lead. So, we knew we was going to have to outscore them and score, 90 points. I thought we need that to win. So to get 110 on something like that is amazing. The guys play extremely well. The free throws, I think we need to, up that a little bit, but getting 47 attempts is a great number. But I think, we need to get that around 75% to really be effective. But again, the guys play really well, complete team effort. Shout out to Mark. Shout out to Caleb. Came out and played well. Rebounded the ball well. But again, a complete team effort.
One of the most amazing things about this year's Mizzou team, as I see it, is that last year when they don't win a conference game, okay, you go to the portal, you add some impact freshmen, some guys that have gotten some playing time this year. But a lot of the core pieces are still guys from last year. Tamar Bates is one of those guys, but Caleb Grill as well. We didn't really get a chance last year to see Caleb Grill at his best, at his healthiest, had the wrist injury that he dealt with. His ability to come off the bench still as sort of that 6-man dynamic weapon for the Tigers. What have you made of Caleb Grill and the difference from what we saw from him last year in more of a limited role and kind of fighting through that injury to now being able to truly play his game, hustle after rebounds, and obviously hit the three-point shot the way that he has for this team?
If anybody knows the Pistons, he's our Vinnie Johnson. He's our microwave. And to be able to shoot the ball as well as he does, and having that threat, 47% leading the SEC in 3-point shooting, it's a tremendous weapon. So I didn't get a chance to see him play last year, but to see him this year, to see he's kind of settled into a nice role, and now coming off the bench, now we're looking for him to shoot. So he's hunting his shot. He's looking for opportunity to kind of get the ball up. And again, like he does a tremendous job for us and opens up the floor for everyone else when he's out there, because there's so much attention that goes to him that it opens up the court, for our driving lanes as well.
And he's shown he'll shoot it from just about anywhere on the floor. Had 25 points tonight. I'm looking at the stat line right now. Kareem, I just noticed it was a triple-double for Caleb Grill tonight. 10 rebounds.
Oh, I didn't know that.
11 I didn't even, with the way this game was going, I'm having to take a look at some of these things in the box score. He had 10 rebounds, 11 assists, and 25 points tonight. Dare I say, maybe Caleb's best game as a Missouri Tiger so far. Unbelievable. Chris Pelican with the comment, and thanks, Chris, for the laryngitis since I'm filling in for you tonight. But best part of this game is that Alabama played a really good game, and Mizzou still dominated this game. The sky is the limit for this team. It's kind of a difficult question to ask, Kareem, when you go, hey, where could the ceiling be for this Missouri team? My co-host on the Big Show in Columbia, Andy, and I, we interviewed Coach Gates back in like August, and he was already talking about San Antonio, which I thought, my goodness, for a team that didn't win a conference game last year, but that's the confidence that Coach Gates has had in this group. But what do you think the sky is for this Mizzou team, the way they're playing right now?
I mean, I love lofty goals, so San Antonio will be a great thing for us to do. But, I think, as well as they're playing now, I think playing your best ball going to tournament time is the ideal situation. But me personally, I think they're, second week team or even more. But as well as we're playing now, we show we can be the top 5 team at home. These guys are playing great. The seniors needs to continue to go in the same way. And I think, once you get in the tournament, it's all up in the air. You go out, if you're playing well, you got a chance to advance and really make some noise. But this team is really good. I'm impressed. The culture that Dennis built, as you mentioned, rebounding from an 0-19 season, that's a tough deal. So to come back and have the season they're having is a testament to his culture he's building, testament to the guys who came back and want to be a part of this program, because with the portal, you can always leave. So to have the guys turn up 180 and play the way they're playing, it's really amazing to see. And I'm really proud of the guys.
Truly has been amazing. And MIZDOC with the comment, we are not who we are this year without Mark Mitchell. That's another aspect of what Coach Gates and the staff has been able to do in bringing guys like Mark Mitchell in from the portal. Obviously, transfer portal was not a thing when you were playing at Missouri, Kareem, but to think about the way that this group has kind of melded together with a little bit from here, a little bit from there, some returning cast that, as we mentioned, that have been able to make an impact. What does it say about Dennis Gates and the culture that he's building right now that you can have an 0 season like the Tigers just did, and a guy like Mark Mitchell still says, I want to go to Columbia, Missouri. I want to be a part of this because I can see the vision for what's to come in the future. How rare is that to see for a team that didn't have the results, but certainly has been building the foundation?
I mean, that's really all about the culture and really about, Dennis as a coach, because guys got options these days. If you don't want to go someplace, you can just leave, so to have guys stick around and want to come to this program after the season we had last year, again, just speaks to, what he's building and the impact he has when he meets with guys. I've known Dennis for a long time. He had a great first year. Yet the second year was just kind of I didn't expect that, but come back this year and had a season they're having, again, it's a testament to what he does and his coaching staff and the guys he got in that locker room.
I want to get to this comment real quick by G. Powell. Robinson's energy and performance was huge. Anthony Robinson last year, I think the moment was a little bit too big for him, but you could tell the raw materials were there. He's come in this year, and especially non-conference play, he showed that spark, maybe had a little bit of a lull at times during conference play. Tonight, though, arguably one of his better games as a Missouri Tiger. What have you seen from him and his evolution that he brings to this team when he's playing with that confidence and that swagger like he did tonight?
I mean, great defensive player, from the get-go. That's just kind of calling card. But the last couple of games really kind of pulled us through the Georgia game. And I'm seeing as a sophomore, his confidence grow. And again, that's just Dennis kind of instilling in him that you go out there and play your game and make an impact. And, he makes an impact on defense. But again, his offense is coming along and he's a great player. So, he's doing his thing.
In a moment, I want to get to Dave's comment about cleaning it up at the free throw line a little bit and get your impression of that. But I want to take a moment to remind everybody that Mizzou Hope Post games are brought to you by Educated Spirits, new Rivals Bourbon Collection featuring the black and gold. Taste the tradition in every sip from Educated Spirits, a company created by our very own Kareem Rush. Kareem, you got to tell us a little bit more about this brand, because it sounds like something that we all need to have displayed in our homes and
Yes.
give this thing a try.
Yeah. So I've been building this brand for the last 15 months. I'm starting one with KU and MU, to kind of build that rivalry. But the black and gold will be individually autographed by yours truly. We have a nice, experiences tied to it. We're going to have a golden ticket promotion in one of those boxes where you get a chance to attend a game with either me or my brother. So bourbon is one of my favorite drinks, and I think it's a great opportunity for players and former guys to be tied to the brand. I got guys like Ricky Paulding. I've talked to Chase Kaufman. So I got a lot of former Mizzou legends, tied to the brand. So, there's something that's true to my heart. I'm a business guy. I'm an entrepreneur. And this is one of my, other ventures that I've gotten into. But yeah, go ahead and buy one of those bottles. We have some cool stuff tied to it.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't just a brand. This brand isn't just a product. It's a celebration of legacy, culture, and the connections we share over a great drink. Educated Spirits is here to elevate every sip, one story at a time. So to pre-order, visit educatedspirits.io. And like we said, even if you're not a bourbon drinker, support one of our favorite Tigers and grab a bottle to display at home. That's educatedspirits.io for the new black and gold bourbon. Educated Spirits, taste the tradition in every sip. And I will cheers to that. All right, I want to ask you about this. Dave Zobrist commented, hey, he's a big Mizzou guy. Free throw line stuff. 66% for a team that gets to the line as well as this Missouri team does. How important is that going to be when you get to March Madness? Because you were a part of March Madness teams that had deep runs. What does it say about Missouri? Okay, you get to the line. How key is it going to be, though, to make them in some of those matchups they could have down the road?
I mean, especially when you get to the tournament, those are going to be key. We can't go, I think we shot 60% tonight, 31 for 47. So it's going to be a key thing. But, luckily we didn't need it tonight. But with something we need to definitely, tighten up. I'm sure Dennis is going to say the same thing. We struggled a little bit throughout the course of the year. But that just comes down to focus, practice. But we're going to need those free throws, in the crunch time during the tournament time.
Kareem, Trevor commented here and said, let's not ever forget the Nate Oates clipboard spike. Have you ever seen a clipboard shatter into that many pieces on a basketball floor? Nate Oates, obviously a fiery guy, but that was kind of a fun moment from this game if you were from the Missouri side watching him get animated like that.
I mean, it was pretty heated, and I know Nate's, like I said, a very emotional guy. So, that's part of the game. You get a little amped, and clipboard breaks sometimes.
No doubt about it. Clay wants to know, Kareem, best win for you at home against a ranked team this late in the season, as you guys were grinding there in the early 2000s. I was a younger kid for those teams, but my goodness, I remember those years. What was some of the most memorable home wins late in the season that kind of put you guys on the path you wanted to as March rolled around?
He put that's kind of put me on the spot. I gotta think back to my Mizzou days when I played. That's a tough question, but I'll get back to you on that one. But we had a lot of good wins, especially that last year. We made our little run to the Elite Eight. The season was up and down. I think we went 24-12 that year. We were ranked preseason number 2. So we had some up and downs. But like I mentioned, it's all about how you kind of finish the season. And we ended on the right way and got into tournament playing the best ball of the year during that time. And then we was able to advance to the Elite Eight. And we should have made the Final Four, but Oklahoma, didn't have that thing in mind at the same time. So, but yeah, I mean, I had a lot of memorable, games in Mizzou. But like I said, I'm excited watching these guys, and I understand how important these things means to these players. And I'm happy to see Dennis kind of recoup from last year and have such a great season.
No doubt about it. And now everybody's going to say, hey, you just knocked off number 4. Missouri's got another resume kind of win under its belt. What's that going to do for them in the AP poll? Now, you mentioned your guys' run to the Elite Eight. That was as a 12 seed, so maybe ranked a little bit lower going into that tournament. What do you think, though, now that we're getting an opportunity to talk about March Madness seeding and where the Tigers could end up, and what we should recognize is a loaded Southeastern Conference from top to bottom? It's a great league this year. Where do you hope to see the Tigers? Could they maybe get to a top 10 ranking? They were number 15 tonight. Now they're knocking off number 4.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see. I saw some of the projection. We were a 5 seed, so I think that can definitely go up to a 4 now. I mean, we got another quad 1 win, over a top 5 team. So it's definitely going to help, those rankings. But yeah, if we can get a top 4 seed in the SEC, so we can get those buys and then go into the tournament with a higher seed, I think that's definitely in the play. It depends on how who lost above us. I can see us cracking the top 10 with this win. but we'll see, what the professionals say about that.
Yeah, there you go. They'll decide that. We'll just be here to talk about it. Mizzou
Yeah.
1755 says Mizzou Arena was absolutely rocking. Talk about an intimidating place to play. Just watching on TV, you could tell that the environment is going. You remember the Hearn Center rocking like that back in the day? I'm sure you guys had it cooking for a lot of those games.
Yeah, he really did. Hearns was a great place. Didn't get a chance to play at Missouri Arena, but tonight's energy was you can see it through the TV. Fans was crazy. Braving the snowstorm. A top 10 matchup like this with Alabama coming in. It was a great game, great environment, and the guys showed up and showed out tonight.
Here's another great comment. Afton Soccer Guy chimes in, says, I took a drink each time the refs went to the monitor, and unfortunately he's a little bit under the under the influence of that now. So the monitor is something that's maybe a little bit more of a recent development. What do you think about the flow of the game and how often the refs are saying, we got to go take a look at this, we got to take a look at that? I even said at one point, this one's going to benefit Missouri, but I still felt like it was impacting the flow of the game. Just from a general perspective, watching college basketball, how do you feel about the way that has kind of gone? Because it's been a commonality this year in the SEC.
Yeah, you never want to have the refs be a center focus of anything, but instant replays and replays are part of the game. Guys can deal with it. I don't see it as a big deal. Guys don't really notice it. You can go out there and play, and refs gonna do what they're gonna do. But again, guys came out and played their ass off tonight, and I'm looking forward to the next game.
I think in a pace like tonight as well, Kareem, because it was so up and down, the guys might have maybe not minded getting the blow here and there to be able to kind of relax for 30 seconds or so. Chris says, make sure now to avoid the letdown. So let's look ahead a little bit, Kareem, to Saturday at Arkansas. Yep. This is kind of the new rivalry for Missouri and the SEC. Obviously still got to play KU this year, but Arkansas under John Calipari just took a little bit of time to get up and running. Mizzou was able to get them at Mizzou Arena when they played a few weeks ago. But just tonight, the Hogs darn near upset Auburn. That was a pretty close final as well in the SEC. What do you make right now about the next one in front of Mizzou as we start to count the games down and see about finishing strong heading into Nashville for that SEC tournament?
I mean, with the way we're playing, I believe we probably be, favored in that game against Arkansas. Calipari is obviously a great coach, but we're playing really well right now. Haven't got a chance to watch a lot of Arkansas play. I will, leading up to this game. But again, I think the way we plan, the way we mesh, and we got a good chance of going there and getting the win as well.
And the Mizzou Hub post games will be present all throughout the season. So if you're new to Sports Hub STL, which most everybody is since it's a new venture this week, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel and checking everything out. It's been a lot of fun. I see in here, Kareem, several comments about Kansas, and that's obviously a rivalry that people feel very strongly about. I was wondering if you maybe saw the other night, BYU kind of got the better of the Jayhawks. I didn't know if maybe you had any reaction to that within your family.
Always love seeing KU, struggle. And so they said a lot of my high school friends were KU grads and KU alums. So I always give them stuff, when I see KU. And it's been a down year for them. But it's always great to see Jayhawks lose.
Yeah, we don't mind that here. And Spencer chiming in, wish number one Kansas wasn't going to become a quad 2 win. It seems like nowadays the quad 1 win is a pretty important aspect when you're talking about a March Madness resume. But of course, Mizzou, I mean, they played that non-con schedule that, other than the Kansas and maybe the Illinois bragging rights game, was a little bit on the lighter side. But I don't really think that's going to end up harming Mizzou when it comes to seeding, because of the fact that they're playing such a tough conference schedule. Mizzou Hub postgame show presented by Hot Shots. St. Louis is home for all the games all the time since 1990. Find yours at hotshotsnet.com. We're also sponsored by Educated Spirits. New Rivals Bourbon Collection featuring the black and gold. Visit educated-spirits.com. That's looking good right there on the screen.
Right.
And that is, of course, the brand for the black and gold by Kareem Rush. And if you guys could throw on the screen real quick, we could talk about this coming up at Hot Shots, since they're presenting our show. The kickoff party for Sports Hub STL. It is Thursday, February 27th, coming up 6 to 9:30 p.m. at the new Hot Shots over on Lindbergh in Lee-May. The Blues are in action that night, so it's going to serve as a watch party. You can come and meet the Sports Hub STL team with a chance to win tickets, Hub merchandise, and much more at Hot Shots. Do not miss that one. It's going to be a lot of fun. Kareem, are you looking forward to it? The game on Saturday, that's kind of the next thing for Mizzou here. If you're able to get that road win, there's always a difference between playing at home and having the crowd behind you tonight and then maybe going into the unfriendly environment on Saturday. But any parting thoughts about the next task Mizzou is going to face before we wrap things up here tonight on the show?
I think Dennis going to get those guys ready to play. Like any player, the next game up is the most important one. I think these guys are really kind of, zeroed in on trying to get one of those top seeds in the tournament and in the SEC. So I don't think it's going to be a letdown at all. The momentum is riding high coming off this win. So I expect them to play really well in Arkansas for sure.
Kareem, one more before we get out of here, because most folks in the comments now, they're asking, they want to know about how Brenden's doing. We kind of made the little KU jokes and things like that. But any update before we get out of here for some of our listeners?
Brenden's doing well, playing golf, living in Indiana.
There you go.
So I'm excited to have him part of the Educated Spirits brand, so we can kind of market that together as brothers and as businessmen. So it's been amazing kind of having him be a part of that. But Brenden's enjoying retirement, playing a lot of golf, and being a basketball dad. So he's doing really well.
There you go. Well, this has been so much fun, Kareem, and it'll be a lot more fun, too, when we're talking about Mizzou basketball, I think, deep into March. Mizzou with the big win tonight over Alabama at home. Number 15 Tigers knock off number 4 Alabama, 110-98.
Let's go, MIZ. MIZ
is the way to end this show. That's a ZOU for Kareem Rush. I'm Brenden Schaeffer. We'll talk to you all next time on the Mizzou Hub Postgame Show, powered by Hot Shots Sports Bar and Grill.